Tonight, price hikes on energy bills. Gas and electricity charges will rise by around £139 per household per year.
We've got a lot that we could probably spend that on, to be fair. That's disgusting, really. I don't know how they get away with it.
Also making the headlines, getting ready for restrictions lifting. Dancing is back and distancing is out from midnight on Sunday. And in Edinburgh, the festival returns.
To sport, silver success. Laura Muir breaks the British record to become the first Scot to win an Olympic track medal for 33 years.
And jackpot joy for a couple who've won £5 million on the lottery. I'm Chree in Glasgow.
And I'm Sophie Wallace in Edinburgh. This is the STV News at 6. Good evening. It's the most significant increase to the price in household fuel bills for a decade. Today, the energy watchdog Ofgem confirmed the cost for gas and electricity will rise by around £139 per household per year.
Ofgem say the increase is due to rises in the wholesale price of fuel, but campaigners argue the move will leave thousands with the choice heat or eat. Here's Brandon Cook.
Life is going to get a bit tougher for thousands of households across Scotland.
Switching on the lights, firing up the hob and turning up the heating. Trivial things that many take for granted, but are bank-breaking decisions for others. Today's announcement is a sharp price increase for those on standard meters, even more for prepaid.
What do you actually choose? Do you choose to heat? Do you choose to clothe or feed or whatever? Because there's only so many pounds in everybody's pocket.
That's very cruel, and I think that's very unfair when people really need it more than ever at the moment.
Nappies and baby food and that.
Yeah, we've got a lot that we could probably spend that on, to be fair. That's disgusting, really. I don't know how they get away with it.
I'm just your average Joe, you know what I mean? I make a minimum wage, pay so much a month, and I'm literally left with buttons at the end of the month.
The wholesale cost of fuel is up by 50% in recent months. The regulator Ofgem says they have no choice.
The announcement we're making today is made because we've seen record fossil fuel prices, not just in electricity and gas, but also in petrol and diesel. And what the price cap does is it says to customers, you do need to pay a fair price, but no more than that.
You know, it's one thing it hits your pockets, but the stress that causes for families.
Those working on the front line say it will push thousands further into fuel poverty.
It feels like a perfect storm for families, especially as we come into times where furlough comes to an end, we're moving out of a pandemic.
Their bill could go up by £139 per year. That will obviously have a huge impact for many households in Scotland.
Advice bureaus are asking people to seek help if they're stuck.
It's really, really important that we get the message out there that in Scotland particularly there is some good news and that there is a lot of help available to help households who are struggling with fuel bills, and we would really urge them to contact us.
This is an increase to the cap on default tariffs, so not being on one of those tariffs is probably the best thing that you can do to avoid the increase. And that means looking at different fixed tariffs that suppliers in the market are offering.
I'm Chree in Glasgow.
The price cap is due to begin on October the 1st.
This is
Brandon Cook, STV News.
As restrictions ease, the questions over how COVID was handled continue to be asked, and the focus now, for some at least, has turned to one of compensation. One major legal firm here says it's handling over 150 cases.
They range from accusations of negligence in care homes to a lack of training and insufficient PPE for health workers. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon says the government plans to learn the lessons of the pandemic through a public inquiry, as Savannah Holland reports.
My little boy's growing up and should be seeing his granny, but he's not getting to now. It's difficult.
Ian Ledlaw lost his mother Margaret last April. As a vascular dementia sufferer, she was at high risk from coronavirus. She was moved to a care home where she caught COVID and died in the space of 2 weeks. Ian and his family think the care home were negligent and are now taking legal action.
It's just a sense that there's more than one party who's at fault for like the ultimate outcome, and we feel like these parties should be held accountable and admit their liability for what happened.
Robert Gold says he's been left feeling angry as he feels his dad William died in a care home too soon. He's also seeking redress.
I know it sounds a bit cliche, but I really want justice, for not to put too fine a point on it. The lack of strong management, procedures being followed, led to the direct death of my dad. So, it doesn't matter whether he's 89 or 49 or 69. He was taken away wrongly, simply because people didn't do their job.
Decisions and policies made by the Scottish Government during the last 18 months are also in the hands of solicitors.
There's going to be far more evidence coming out against the Scottish Government and of course the UK Government when that public inquiry arrives. But we do already know that certain terrible decisions were made that the Scottish Government themselves, the Cabinet Secretary for Health, has apologised for. The decision to send people out of hospitals and into care homes when they were positive for the virus. That's unforgivable, and that's one of the primary bases upon which we are looking to see what legal avenues can be pursued against the Scottish Government.
The First Minister says the actions of her government will be reviewed in a public inquiry.
I'm not going to comment on any potential legal action. It would be completely inappropriate for me to do that. Any individual, of course, has the right to consider whether their rights have been in any way breached so that they think legal action might be appropriate, and people will take their own legal advice.
The date for a UK-wide public inquiry into the handling of coronavirus has been set by the Prime Minister for next spring. Ivana Holland, STV News.
Almost all restrictions on our daily lives will go from midnight on Sunday. The hospitality industry will see some of the biggest changes, with nightclubs opening and drinking at the bar back on the menu.
Under 12s will no longer need to wear masks indoors if they don't want to, but anyone older will still need to wear them in a number of settings for some time to come, as Ollie Dickinson has been finding out.
For almost a year and a half, the hospitality industry has faced COVID restrictions. But when the clock strikes midnight on Sunday, all that will change.
Being shut for a year and a half hasn't been ideal, but we've made it work. Now we're opening as of Sunday till 3 o'clock. It's just great to see. It's nice to see Glasgow and the rest of Scotland coming back to, again, sense of normality, what we're used to. Seeing the streets a bit busier, seeing more people out and about, a bit more hustle and bustle, because beforehand it was a ghost town.
Whilst guests will still be expected to hand over track and trace details, a lot will be very different.
So what are the changes? Well, from midnight on Sunday, there'll be no more physical distancing and no limits on social gatherings. Nightclubs, bars and lounges like this one will be open as long as their licence permits them to be so, and you won't need a mask if you want to be on the dance floor. And you can pop up to the bar and order a drink. Lemonade, please. Cheers.
And with more people enjoying a night out, taxi drivers are expecting business to pick up.
It's absolutely fantastic for Glasgow. It's fantastic for the taxi drivers of Glasgow. It allows us to showcase Glasgow. This has been a really difficult period for taxi drivers. In April of 2020, we dropped to 15% of normal volume of business. The nighttime economy returning and the return of big events to the city is a major boost for the taxis.
With almost all restrictions removed, it's a series of changes the industry are hoping are here to stay. Ollie Dickinson, STV News.
Now, the Edinburgh Festival begins today with the International Festival and the Fringe welcoming back audiences and acts at a range of outdoor and indoor venues across the city.
It may be smaller, but organisers are determined to bring back the weird and wonderful array of entertainment that has seen Edinburgh crowned the culture capital of the world. Well, Laura Boyd is there for us now. Laura, apart from wet, how's it looking?
Oh, Gordon, it is so wet. I am at the underbelly at George Square, which is normally a hub of activity during the Fringe. As you can see just now, it's quite quiet, but I don't think the weather's doing us any favours on that front. However, the hope is that in the coming days, people will get out and about and support the comeback of the festivals, because they've brought us so much joy over the years. They're also the place where some of the biggest names have kick-started their career, as Polly Bartlett has been finding out when she took a look at the history of the festivals.
In the shadow of the Second World War, the Edinburgh Festival was born in an attempt to boost the spirits of a nation devastated by conflict. This month it rises again, the capital abuzz with festival goers as it returns after a pandemic-forced break last year.
We didn't think that we would get through it, and here we are. We're putting on something smaller than we usually do, but I think what we are doing is really valuable and I'm really excited about it. In the 90s, we felt it was really big, and comedy became one of the biggest parts of it. And unfortunately, after 2019, it was the biggest it could ever be. And we will have to see. I don't know if it will ever get back to that size again.
6 spectacular festivals will serve up a smorgasbord of culture, filling the city's venues, event spaces and now the online world.
I think it is a proud feeling whenever I've gone into the entrance tent of the book festival and see how it's grown and how much more professional it's become. We had a lot of teething problems at the beginning. Power was a big problem, getting enough power on site. And we plunged Maya Angelou into darkness in the main theatre.
But one victim of the pandemic, the military tattoo, called off for the second year running over worries about the potential cost of having to cancel at the last minute.
I went to the tattoo.
So you know what the tattoo is?
Yes, and they tattooed right across my chest.
The festivals have been a springboard for the launch of the careers of many a star, taking them from obscurity to household name.
This is my Edinburgh.
First time I did it was I was a medical student. You know, back in 1988 or something, or 89. No one came, and we got a review in the Scotsman saying, it was like a 2-line review. It said the show is a dud and deserves only box office failure, which takes some beating.
With overseas performers unable to travel, this year the lineup is focused on Scottish talent.
Usually I don't get stressed about gigging at all in Scotland because I never need to slow down. I can speak as quickly as I want, but in Edinburgh I still need to do that because I'll have Americans be like, oh my god, what was that? What's a band part?
The festival has divided the opinions of locals over the years.
Obviously it's not for us, because we couldn't afford to go with this. If we did, it'd be spending our rent money.
But owes its success to the city.
It's completely unique because it's in Edinburgh, and Edinburgh is a city where you can walk around. It's a beautiful city, and you can walk from venue to venue to see whatever kind of genre of entertainment you want. There's nothing like it in the world. It is completely unique.
All this month, Edinburgh will sing, dance and perform. It may be a smaller and less chaotic festival than usual, but it's still a cause for celebration because the greatest arts festival in the world has returned. Polly Bartlett, STV News.
Well, some fantastic faces there, and you can spot some stars of the future too, because there are over 700 events taking place at the Fringe. A third of them are online, but there's still plenty to see in person, as I found out earlier when I chatted to some of the organisers about what we can expect this year.
It will feel like a festival, but just a little bit shrunken, I think. There'll be live shows. Some of those will be in purpose-built outdoor venues. One of the most unusual is obviously the multi-storey car park by the Traverse.
Well, we've got the 3 big pavilions. In here, it's chamber music, it's traditional music, but it's also people like Alan Cumming. I think there's a kind of tentative buzz. I feel it's sort of building.
It was really weird us coming here and seeing no one, and us holding up our flyers and no one kind of being
massively interested. It was a bit of a shock, really.
It's great to be back, and there have been some major changes. They do make it difficult, but they keep people safe. That's what's important.
It became quite overwhelming with tourists in the middle of the summer and during the festival, and you sort of felt pushed out a bit. So as now when we can wander about and really enjoy it, it's nice.
Everybody's fantastic. Everybody treats everybody with lots of respect and lots of love and care. So I think it will be an amazing festival this year.
Well, hopefully it will be an amazing festival, as the Scummy Mummies will be hoping for. Ladies, how does it feel to be back at the Fringe? You sold out here before.
We did. We came in 2019 and we sold out the whole run, and we got a 5-star review. We don't like to talk about it, Laura, obviously. But it's so nice to be back. And, you know, it's raining. I mean, it feels like we've never been away, really.
It's typical Edinburgh, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It is a smaller festival this year, but that's not going to take away from the fun, is it?
No, not at all. And also less competition. So come see our show at 8:30 tonight and the next 4 nights. But no, it's going to be great, and there's still the buzz, and I think Edinburgh is such a special place. So yeah, we're just really thrilled to be back.
What can we expect from a Scummy Mummy show?
Oh, the usual nonsense: songs, sketches, stand-up, filth. Don't bring your children.
Please do
bring your friends.
It's not a family-friendly show.
Bring a panty liner, have a good laugh.
Yes.
Sounds perfect. Well, we'll be coming up with loads more from the Fringe in the coming days.
Now, an abandoned coastal swimming pool in Fife has been given a makeover after a successful restoration project. Crowds have been flocking to Pittenweem's outdoor pool ahead of its official opening this weekend. Saul Sivright has more.
Welcoming bathers back with a bang. It may have been a decade in the making, but people are again enjoying what Pittenweem Tidal Swimming Pool has to offer.
It's been a long time coming. The amount of hard work that's gone on behind us to get the scenes that you've got behind you today, it's just been brilliant. So overjoyed. The payback we're getting is to see the people enjoying themselves.
The 130-year-old pool was built in an era when outdoor bathing was a popular activity, but like so many seaside attractions, it fell into disrepair. Wishing to restore the pool to its former glory, the community led a project to dredge the floor, restore safe access and seal leaking walls.
It's gorgeous, tents on the beach, never that in my day, right? It's gone it's gone a bit upmarket, wetsuits. We were just shivering in little costumes.
One local swimming group taking full advantage of the £270,000 upgrade is the Menopausal Mermaids.
There's a group of us that have gone about together for a while, and I suggested they try it one night, and one of them came the next day, another one came the next day, and all of a sudden everybody came and they just really enjoy it.
And the pool has always been the most amazing asset for the community, and we swam in the pool even before it was renovated. But of course now the bottom is clean, it feels a lot safer, and I mean it's just really made a big difference to the atmosphere at the pool.
With visitors to the pool taking the plunge, it's hoped tomorrow's official opening ceremony will open a new chapter for Pittenweem and Fife's East Neuk. Saul Sivright, STV News.
All right, sport now with Sheila.
Get your fill of the action. STV Sport, sponsored by Papa John's.
Good evening. Laura Muir has ended her wait for a global outdoor medal after winning silver in the 1500 metres at the Olympics. It's the first time in 33 years a Scottish athlete has won an individual medal on the track. There was also gold for cyclist Katie Archibald and 2 further bronzes for the Scots, as Stephanie Daly now reports.
And here comes Laura Muir, chasing her home. She's gone past Sifan Hassan.
Laura Muir had the young athletes at her club back home, Dundee Hawkhill Harriers, on the edge of their seats as they cheered home one of their own.
But Laura Muir gets the silver for Great Britain. Hassan gets the bronze.
It's clear what an Olympic silver medal means to Muir, and her time of 3 minutes 54.5 seconds is a new British record.
Oh wow, it's just great. She just came second and beat Hassan, and she's like a champion basically. And I'm just so proud of her, and she's such a big inspiration because, like, you know, she could have been one of us sitting here watching somebody else in the Olympics, and you know, any one of us could be there, you know, in a number of years' time.
She was once in my club wearing one of these vests, and I could maybe be like her one day.
She's a massive inspiration here. She's left her mark in the small club of Dundee, and it's just really inspirational.
I can't wait when I'm older to get to the Olympics and see maybe I could win a silver medal.
Maybe gold.
Maybe.
So what's the secret of the Dundee club that has also produced Liz and Ailish McColgan?
It's that big family club, you know, it's a small town, small area, but it's got a big name, and what the girls will achieve this weekend is going to just inspire future generations to keep on doing that.
Scotland's success story doesn't stop there, with Katie Archibald and teammate Laura Kenny dominating the velodrome to secure gold in the women's Madison.
The STV
It was a
News
masterclass in
6.
cycling from the pair.
They've dominated the race from start to finish.
Jack Carlin got his second medal of the Games, scooping bronze in the individual sprint. In the hockey, Borders-born Sarah Robertson helped Team GB to a 4-3 win over India to claim bronze. Stephanie Daly, STV News.
Football now, and Martin Boyle believes Hibs showed enough in the 1-1 draw with Rijeka last night to be confident of European progression next week. And after positive results for St Johnstone, Aberdeen and Celtic, hopes are high there will be a healthy Scottish contingent in the playoffs of both the Europa League and the Conference League.
All square after the first leg at Easter Road, but with more than enough chances to win the game, Hibs will head to Croatia believing they can still qualify for the playoffs. Martin Boyle levelled after Prince Ampen's opener for Rijeka, and the Australia international says there's nothing to fear.
We believe in the squad that we've got more than enough. Obviously they've got a few players that caused us a little bit of problems tonight when we conceded a sloppy goal. But I'm sure if we can go over there and play the same way that we did, I firmly believe that we can get through.
Staying with the Conference League, and Stephen Glass hailed Aberdeen's response to shipping a 2-goal lead in Iceland. The Dons steadied the ship at half-time against Breiðablik and went on to win 3-2 in their first leg. In the Europa League, St Johnstone boss Callum Davidson has urged his side to finish the job in Perth after an impressive 1-1 draw with Turkish giants Galatasaray.
You know, maybe just not St Johnstone fans, I think other football fans, you know, maybe come enjoy Galatasaray, come across to Perth with something to play for. You know, the tie's not over. You know, we've managed to take them back to Modern with something to play for. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be really, really tough. Don't doubt that. You know, the result was great tonight. It's going to be so tough on Thursday. But we're there. We're still on the tie, still fighting.
And there was a first victory for new Celtic coach Ange Postecoglou as they defeated Jablonec 4-2 in their first leg in the Czech Republic.
Now, Livingston manager David Martindale is set to go back into the transfer market amid ongoing fitness issues and difficulties getting new signings up to speed. Both Jack McMillan and Jays Cabia face about 8 weeks out with knee injuries suffered in last Saturday's defeat to Rangers.
I'm probably going to be looking at trying to bring 1 or 2 more in, I would imagine. As a couple, we had at one point we had 24 players, and that's me probably down to the bare 18, bare 17 again. So we'll have a wee look at the market and see who's available.
Rugby now, and ahead of the final British and Irish Lions test, attack coach Gregor Townsend says the squad would pull off one of the biggest achievements in rugby if they can head home tour winners. The series is finally poised at 1-1 with world champion South Africa ahead of the match in Cape Town tomorrow, with Ali Price and Duhan van der Merwe the only Scots in the starting 15. To golf now, and Callum Hill is top Scot heading into the weekend at the Hero Open at the Fairmont in St Andrews. Hill broke the course record yesterday and was in steady form again today, just 3 shots off the leader, with Richie Ramsey, David Law and Grant Forrest still in contention. And that's all the sport from me this evening.
Get your fill of the action. STV Sport, sponsored by Papa John's.
All right, time for the weather now with Sean.
Blue skies and sunshine are in the forecast.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
Well, this weekend for us is all about these cauliflower-like clouds, giant clouds bubbling up, cumulonimbus clouds that bring us those heavy showers, thunderstorms at times, and they will be slow moving. But some of you will have noticed today you can be pretty lucky with these sort of clouds. They can only be about a few miles wide, which means you can view them from a distance. They look very pretty. But if you're unfortunate enough to be stuck right under it, well, you know all about it because you get those heavy, thundery downpours, and that will be the case on and off through the weekend. The intensity of those showers easing as we go through tonight. Now tomorrow the low pressure centre
today
will
at
be
6,
the west.
history for Team GB cyclist Laura Kenny becoming Britain's most successful.
Are predicting some of our heavy showers to develop around the borders, drifting into the likes of East Lothian, but still cater for the risk of some heavy ones around tomorrow. But hopefully the bulk of those will be towards the west. Now tomorrow morning we've got a few scattered showers to start with, fair amount of cloud, but as the cloud breaks up, sunshine comes out. Temperatures will be about 18 or 19 degrees. Now, given the fact that the winds will be fairly light away from coastal parts, it will feel warm in that sunshine. But as I said, yes, cater for the risk of some heavier showers, especially if you are a wee bit further west or, like the model suggests, over the likes of the borders and also East Lothian. As that low pressure centre drifts into the North Sea on Sunday, expect we will see some of those heavier showers. But again, in the sunshine, not too bad, with highs of 19. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
And finally, a couple from West Lothian who always had a feeling they might win big one day say they are overjoyed after scooping more than £5 million on the lottery.
Yes, Paul Drake from Bathgate checked his numbers last Thursday on his way to his shift at a Lidl warehouse. His wife Louise, who is a district nurse and worked throughout the pandemic, is already planning their next trip abroad once restrictions allow. Vanessa Kennedy reports.
Paul has been buying lottery tickets since he was 16, usually choosing the same combination of numbers. But it was last week when he was running late for work that he bought 3 lucky dips. As he left for his shift at a supermarket warehouse last Thursday morning, he had a niggling feeling he should check his tickets.
I turned my phone round, it was like, oof, and I was very emotional at the time, yes. So I ran back in the house and I showed Louise the ticket and she thought it was £5,100, which was slightly wrong. I must have scanned it, God knows how many times, hundreds of times. The ticket's never left my side since last Thursday morning. It's went everywhere with me.
Louise has worked as a district nurse throughout the pandemic. She says while the money will make a huge difference, it won't stop her working.
It's been very, very hard, and our work isn't something that can be postponed. You know, we deal with people in their own homes who need often daily visits, people who are palliative, end of life care, so you have no option but just get on all your PPE and go and do it. So yeah, it has had an effect, but I definitely won't stop working. I'll still work.
And while the couple are still in shock about their massive win, Paul says he'd always hoped this would be a reality.
It sounds really strange, but I always thought I'd win the lottery. I don't know why. I had that feeling. I said that to Louise. I've always said, I think you're going to win this one day. But when it happens, it's a shock. But it's just, it opens a lot of doors. It's fantastic.
The couple are planning on upgrading their car and going travelling when they can, but they're vowing to remain down to earth. And while Paul has quit his job, both say they won't let the bubbles go to their heads. Vanessa Kennedy, STV News.
5 million reasons to celebrate. Well, that's all from us for tonight and for this week.
Yes, have a very good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.